Hi, and welcome back to our channel. It is October now, so it is time for another edition of Spooky Catholic Books.
We did this video last year and reviewed 4 spooky but excellent Catholic books, and that was a lot of fun, so we decided to bring it back again this year.
Just to get you in the mood for fall, October, Halloween. So spooky but excellent, and these all center around the Catholic faith.
So prepare to be scared. Let's get started.
So we are starting off today with a true ghost story. This actually happened, and it is Muldoon, a true Chicago ghost story, Tales of a Forgotten Rectory by Rocco Ficini.
So as a young priest in the 50s, he was assigned to St. Charles Borromeo Parish in Chicago, which was this once thriving church that had fallen on hard times.
So Father Ficini was not long at his new assignment before he realized that things just weren't right there. For starters, the pastor that he worked under, Father Kane, not his real name, was very difficult and demanding. And then things were just not right in the church, in the rectory. Weird things were happening, especially at night.
So at night, he and the fellow priests who lived there would hear these heavy, mysterious footsteps, doors opening and closing, lights on and off. There would be banging noises coming from the church. So all kinds of these weird, spooky things.
So it turns out that all this weird stuff had actually been going on at the church for quite some time, because other priests who had been assigned there and then moved on, when Father Ficini talked to them, they said, oh yeah, that we witnessed all that. Yeah, for sure, we saw that.
So Father Ficini decided to do some research, and he discovered through the church grapevine that the church was supposedly haunted by Bishop Peter J. Muldoon, who had originally built the church back in the 1800s.
Bishop Muldoon definitely did not have a very easy life as a priest, as the book will tell you, but the one thing that he wanted, his dying wish, was take me back to the church I built, Charles Borromeo, and bury me there. However, that request was never honored.
So was it him who was haunting the church and the grounds, unsettled because his wish was never granted?
I'm back.
We don't know. You decide.
So in the meantime, we're giving this a solid 7 on the spooky scale because according to Father Ficini and many other witnesses, all of this actually really did happen.
But it's not like the super creepy, like exorcism level spooky. It will make you think, but it probably won't keep you up at night. So let us know in the comments if you've ever read this book or ever heard the story of Bishop Muldoon and what you thought.
So our next book is Awakening by Jacqueline Brown, which was actually recommended to us by one of our viewers, so thank you. We tracked down a copy. It was so good. We both really enjoyed it.
So it's the story of 17-year-old Sienna who lives in this grand old castle with her family in Maine. They've had definitely some tragedy in their lives, so they kind of live in semi-isolation out in the country, but they're all devout Catholics and they go to church, they pray the rosary, all those beautiful things.
So in this book, you have an old castle, you have a mysterious, possibly haunted inn, you have a stranger who comes to town who has spiritual gifts that are quite unusual, and you have one teenage girl trying to make sense of it all.
So some of the things we really liked is that this book does address the holy souls in purgatory. If you ever think that your prayers don't help them, this book, this story is a great reminder that they do.
This book also talks about spiritual warfare. There's a running theme through the book about that. Spiritual warfare is real, and it all kind of comes to head in the climax of the book, which is definitely very powerful and dramatic.
And it's also fun that the 3 sisters in this book are named Lizia, Avila, and Sienna, so all nods to great Catholic saints.
And this book just has a really great fall vibe. You have a harvest festival, a lot of baked goods with blueberries and apple cider, just fall in Maine. So it is a really spooky, fun mystery to cozy up with on a rainy day in autumn.
Plus, it also has a lot of beautiful elements of the Catholic faith, like the rosary and the real presence of Jesus in the Eucharist.
On the spooky scale, we are giving this one like an 8 or a 9. It's pretty high up there because spiritual warfare is real, it's intense, and there's even a case of possession in this book, so just keep that in mind.
And there is a sequel to it called Gifted, which we haven't read, but it's on the TBR.
Next, we have a very spooky book called The Devil in the City of Angels, My Encounters with the Diabolical by Jesse Romero. So this book is full of his true life stories of people that he encountered, demonic encounters he had on the streets as a policeman working in East LA.
So we had heard a Catholic Lighthouse talk that he gave. So when we saw the book and recognized him as the author, we decided to give it a read.
So yeah, definitely this one is very spooky because these are true stories. When he was working as a policeman, he met all kinds of people who were demonically oppressed or possessed. He even encountered real life witches.
He also talks about the cults that are prevalent in the Hispanic culture in Eastern LA.
However, the author does repeatedly demonstrate that the power of Jesus and the Holy Eucharist and the power of prayer and the sacraments, that is always going to defeat the devil.
So it is a shorter book, but it does have a section of prayers for protection at the end. And we definitely don't think this is good for younger kids and not even for some teens, especially if they're sensitive.
This one also has a very high spooky factor. We're giving it a solid 8, probably even a 9, because these are true stories and they really just creeped us out sometimes.
Yep, but the author does remind us that if we stay close to Jesus and receive the sacraments, we're good, we are protected, so that is reassuring.
So we've talked about it, and I think we're actually going to donate this book to our church library because we read it once. It made a lasting impact.
Once is enough.
Once is enough. I can't see us ever wanting to read this again, but maybe someone else would like to read it. So yeah, read it once, we're good.
So our last book today is Shadow Stalker by T.M. Gowett. This is a novella about what if people woke up in a world where they were fully able to understand the effects of their sins? So what would that be like? How would they react?
Yeah, if you could see the far-reaching effect of sin, what would that be like? Well, glad you asked, because in this book, 3 brothers do wake up one day in a world where this has happened. Everything is different. People are being terrorized by some type of unknown force, and a lot of crazy and weird things are happening. The world's gone mad.
So the brothers, one is a priest, one's a policeman, and one's a reporter, are all called in different ways to help figure out what's going on. And even though this book is fiction, it will make you think about the effects of sin on us and on other people.
If you are a T.M. Gowett fan, because she has written a lot of wonderful stories over at Catholic Teen Books, just know that this book is quite a departure from her usual style, which is not necessarily a bad thing at all. It's just a lot darker and I would say grittier than her usual story. However, it does have a really beautiful message in it about God's love, mercy, and forgiveness.
So this book definitely has a lot going on, but we did really enjoy it. Placing it on the spooky scale is a little bit harder though. If you think of it as a work of fiction, then it's probably going to score somewhere around maybe a 7 or an 8. So that's still kind of high, but still mildly disturbing, but you can handle it.
However, if you think of this book as something that could actually happen, and who knows, it actually could happen, well then it is completely terrifying and definitely a 10 on the spooky scale, and at the very least, it will make you want to run to confession.
All right, so we've had lots of spooky reading going on. All 4 books were very good, but very different.
So let us know down in the comments, have you read any of these books? If you have read them, what did you think? Or if you have any other good spooky Catholic books to recommend for us, also let us know.
But nothing too crazy. We do like sleeping at night. So we hope you enjoyed today's video. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.